Now after you get through with your hoopings, you're going to have two body fronts, tops, and two of the soles. Keep them, make sure you don't get them mixed up because the right and the left sole are different. They're mirrored. So you want to take your top and you want to put the two back seams together and stitch that up, which I've already done. Now, in order to make sure that this seam is not uncomfortable to the infant's foot, you want to press this open. Now let me give you a word of warning here. This has been done on wash away stabilizer. So you will want to have gone ahead. I typically don't like to wash away the stabilizer until I get all the pieces together, but because you're going to have to iron this, you're going to have to press this open, and you don't want to press on wash away stabilizer. It will wrinkle the fabric. So you want to go ahead and wash the stabilizer out of this side right here, just the top, and then once it's dry, you want to press that open, that little seam open right there. And the reason for doing that is because you're going to put a piece of ribbon over this in order to close up that seam. I didn't have my ribbon over here, so I had to get my ribbon. Alright, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to, because you have not sewn the sole onto the shoe yet, or onto the top. So this, you can take your raw edge of your ribbon and just let it hang out over here, because that will get caught when you put the sole on. And I'm going to stitch up the ribbon, and then I'm going to swing this around to the front and bring it down on the seam in the front and do the same thing, so that I have both raw edges coming out at the bottom where the sole's going to go on, and those raw edges will get caught when I put the sole on. You could also glue this on. I think it would probably work if you use some good fabric glue, but I'm going to stitch it on. Now what I have done is I've gone ahead and sewn the back on, and then as I was getting ready to pull it around to the front, I thought, well, why not just put a piece of steam-a-seam on here to anchor that down temporarily, and that way I don't have to worry about the presser foot pushing that off the seam. And I could have done the same thing on the back side, but I didn't. But you could. So the other thing you want to be careful about is these ears. When you're putting this under the presser foot, make sure the ears do not get in the way, or the strap that's already sewn on. I'll put that on here and go ahead and do that while the video's running. You kind of have to push it a little bit because you've got some bulk there, so you may have to push that a little bit. Alright, and then trim off we give it a little bit of space down there at the bottom, because this, like I said, this is going to catch on the sole of the on the sole when you stitch this. Now make sure that you have kept your left top and sole together and the rights together, that you don't get these soles mixed up with the two tops. Pull this out a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Now you'll notice that there are markings on the sole and the top, and these match up just like you do when you have notches on the sewing machine when you're sewing a garment. So you put your two right sides together and match up your two markings like so, and all the way around. And now the back, and of course pin those down. On the back there you have one marking for the center of the sole, and it's going to match up with where you put that ribbon, because that is the back of the top of the slipper. I find it easier if I just make a little stitch at each marking before I go all the way around, and that holds it together. I want to point out that when you cut your two pieces off the stabilizer, you want to leave about 1/8 of an inch on the outside so that doesn't separate. This outer tack down line is holding the pieces together, and if you cut into that, they're going to separate. But your stitch line is the inner stitch line on the sole of the slipper. And I have emphasized that by putting, I have marked that with a heavier outline. So now I have gone ahead and tacked down the marking on the back of the shoe, the sole, to match up with the seam where the ribbon went down, because that's the back of the slipper. And now you're going to match up all of these markings. And I find it easier if I just kind of do a little tack down on each marking and then finish pinning it around. Or sometimes you don't even have to pin it. Once you get these tacked down, you can just run your seam all the way around. Now, I have tacked down, actually I just went ahead and tacked down all the way around from the one marking to the double marking. And you could, if you wanted to, you could put a little bit of fabric glue just to hold this down, or use some Wonder Clips to hold these down. But it's pretty easy now just to put that under the presser foot and just stitch on around. Make sure you stay on the inner stitch down line that's on the sole of the shoe.